Okay, so here's what I was going to use for seat springs. Now, when I bought these off of eBay, I didn't really, but they sent me two lefts or two rights or whatever that is. And I thought when this end was, spun the other way, proper, before I heated it and bent it, these lined up, right? So I wasn't too concerned about it. But then after I realized that I have to mount this to the frame on the side, and I heated them up and bent them. Well, now what we've got is when they sit on the frame, this one sits inboard of the frame and this one sits outboard of the frame, and that's no good. So I decided I've got to bend up my own. I got to turn my own. I'm no stranger to springs. I should have had a couple here to show you springs that I've made, but anyways, so I made my own spring here, turned it cold. Now I decided to go something a little bit different here, and what I did was these coils are right tight, and I decided to make mine different. I'd keep the coil open, and that would give it a unique look, and it would also say, okay, something about this guy is maybe a blacksmith, because I've always been wondering about how am I going to make my bike say the rider is a blacksmith. Well, after I did this, and I made one for each side, one opposite of each other, I decided to try some square. And what I did was I started off the square flat, and then I thought, hey, let's do something different. So I turned it so that it's not flat, that it's more like a diamond, right? And so what I'm going to have to do here now is I'm going to have to take this to the anvil, heat it up, and I'm going to have to flatten this down and drill a hole through here for the sideways, and then up here flatten it the other way and drill a hole for the seat. But I am also going to bring this down a little bit tighter, probably to about here, from here to about here, because that's a little open. And this is really heavy. This is 3/8, so there's not going to be any spring whatsoever in this. But I'm kind of playing around, and I might go to something a little bit lighter if I can find some more 1/4 inch. Now this was some practice stuff that I did with some 1/4 inch, and I learned a few things. This one's almost usable, and it does. I mean, I'm no muscle man, but it has a little bit of spring, and this has 0 spring. So I'm going to play around with it, but I thought I'd let everybody see, just for the seeing sake. Anyways, this one I did hot with my forge, and this one I did cold. Now maybe I should show you the jig I made it in, just for fun. I made a jig out of, I used some pipe from the exhaust. I welded it to a plate, and then I just came in here like this. Oops, this one's made the opposite way. I used that as a stopper, and then I just spun it around by hand, cold. And I've made lots of springs cold. What I might do is that when I stop this video, I think what I'll do is I'll grab a couple springs that I've done and just take a couple quick shots, put them all together, and you can see some of the springs I've made. I'll share this with you too. This is a horse feeder I made some springs for. And this is food made out of food grade stainless and aluminum. And this here latch is just sort of a pressure thing. Use both your hands, and I used some nice weld-on hinges. Now the interesting thing, the reason I'm showing you this is because it's got 2 springs inside, and I'll show you the springs in a minute, but I'll show you how this works. I'll put the camera back here. What you do is you bring your hay in here, and you push the hay in here. That floor is sprung, so when you put your hay in there, and then snap it shut. Then the hay gets pushed up into the grating, and the horse eats it. Anyways, I'll show you the springs that are inside. So this is the unit. I was going to take it apart so I could really show you the springs, but I thought, nah, it's a lot of work, and I just have to put it back together again. Anyways, here's the springs inside. These are 9 and I don't know, I can't remember, 12 inches in diameter, and I don't know how many coils there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coils. This spring is made out of a 1/4 inch rod, and it'll compress to about 5 inches or whatever these add up to, and when it's fully extended, I believe it was about 3 feet, and there's pressure on it right now. Anyways, I made those on this mandrel that I made with a track and everything. I had a power reduction unit on this, so this whole thing would turn 1 rev about every 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. And because I was planning on making lots of these horse feeders. Anyways, there's that. And then there's this. This is a spring vise. This is what farriers use. Or at least they use something like this. I kind of invented this one. The horseshoes go in here. And so what you do is, maybe I should put this camera up somewhere. Kind of like this. Hopefully it doesn't tip over. There. Maybe I'll cut this up. Anyways, then you just put your foot here and you step on it. It hasn't been used for a while. And it's pretty stiff. I'm going to have to oil it up. Anyways, there's a spring in it right here that I made. Oh, the little turnbuckle's all rusted up. I haven't used this for a little while. The foot the lever and everything that I made, and all the mechanism, I made the jaws myself. Anyways, this spring was a trial spring for there. I made a few of these, and this one didn't get quite finished yet, but it was too heavy. This is an equivalent to that one, and I turned this cold. So you can, if you don't need a lot of equipment, all you need is a pipe to spin that around. Now when you're making springs, this is I don't know what they call it, it's a pull spring or whatever. You can make a compression spring if you just open these up, and then all of a sudden now you can compress it and it'll spring back. So there's a couple of my springs. Anyways, there you go.